Welcome back, everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use the AI generators in Curipod to make your own lesson. In the next video, I'm also going to show you a little bit more about how those AI generators work. But first, let's just play a bit around them. So I'm going to share my screen again. And we are back in the Curipod lesson creator. And now I'm in the generators tab. And here I can go here and scroll to all the different generators you can find, or I can sort them by categories. And we add more categories every day. So even though you don't find your subject here, if you go to all, most of the generators can be used for any subject. Let's start off with the first and easiest one, the full lesson. So with the full lesson generator, it creates you a full lesson about any topic in the world. So that could be, here I write the topic for my lesson. That could be what you want to teach about. For instance, if you're a science teacher, it could be animal habitats. If you're an ELA teacher, maybe we are teaching Romeo and Juliet, or actually, let me also show you how it can be more specific, because we can go as specific as the balcony of Romeo and Juliet. We'll set it to 9th grade, and the learning objective will be identify the main theme of the story. Okay, then we'll press do magic, and let's see how it works. So what happens now is that the AI creates a lesson. And here is the starting point of my lesson. I can either add single slides or I can add all 14 slides. Let's see what it's created here. What is the most famous line from the balcony scene of Romeo and Juliet? This is a word cloud, like I showed you in the previous video. You can see it here, or you can go to elements and see how it's here. And if I want to change this, I could change it to a different activity, or I can add some time, just the words, some slides, some facts. This is a group activity, main theme of the balcony scene in Romeo and Juliet. Here the students work together in pairs, and then they send their answer in. So we see this is an open question activity. Then there is a personalized feedback activity. We have some more things there. This is a drawing, it's a brain break. Every student needs a brain break. Then we have some polls at the end here. So this is a really good starting point for my lesson. But let's say I want something else. So I might have some content slides to use already. So I might delete a few of these content slides. And after my brain break, I don't want to do all these polls. I want to dig a bit deeper. So maybe actually I've had my students read Romeo and Juliet. What I would do now is I will just go into another tab here and fetch up. So I maybe have had my students read the first act of Romeo and Juliet. So I'm copy pasting that one out, and I go into the generators here. And I go to the ELA section, and I find this compare and contrast. And as you see, this one does not ask me for a topic, it asks me for a text. So I'll enter the text. This is the text my students have been reading. And when I press do magic, what it does now is that it reads through that text and creates compare and contrast activities based on that text. So this might be something I would like to use. So now I've added them to my slide deck. But then let's say that I actually know my students, and I know a lot of them doesn't care that much for Romeo and Juliet. So I want them to have a fun introduction to it. Then I'll go here, and I'll go fun. And I already have a brain break in the middle, but maybe I want to start with would you rather. And let's see what it gives us with the balcony scene of Romeo and Juliet. Do magic. This creates a would you rather activity. Okay, would you rather play Romeo or Juliet in the balcony scene? This is an opening question, so I'll use that one. And this is how I work with the generators. So I use them to create really personalized activities I want to do with my students. You can go through and take a look at a few of the difference here. Let's say I want a writing activity at the end. So I actually don't want any of these polls. I want to end my lesson with a writing exercise. So I want my students to practice writing, but I want it to be in the topic of Romeo and Juliet. Then I'll go down here and okay, writing prompt with the text. So Romeo, again, let's do the balcony scene of Romeo and Juliet. So this one will create a writing exercise for my student. Okay, I like this one. Rewrite the balcony scene from the perspective of modern day Romeo and Juliet using technology to communicate. So this will be a writing exercise. As we can see again here in the lessons, it's a personalized feedback activity. So this was a good ELA example, but you could of course use Curipod for any subject here, and you can go through here. So let's say you need a lesson, you can have it create a lesson. Or let's say you need a mini project about something. You can have it create a mini project. You can go into the social emotional learning part, and there's a lot of different generators there. So I think the best way of exploring Curipod is to just explore all the different generators. In the content section, we have one that's called Explain It Like I'm 5 and Real World Examples. They are two of my favorites. But I want to show you one more of them before we move on here, and that is upgrade my presentation. And this one, as you see, it does not take in a topic and you do not feed it a text. What you do is you upload a presentation. So let me just find lesson presentation here. So I'm uploading a presentation to it now. I think this one is the 5th grade animal habitats presentation. I'm just going to add it at the end here, and I'll press Do Magic. And what Curipod does now is that it reads through the presentation you have already made in PowerPoint, Google Slides, whatever it is. It reads through it and it creates interactive activities based on the content inside it. So it's a really easy way of getting started with Curipod. Let's see what it generates. So I'm adding it here. This is the first slide of it. It hasn't done anything to it. Then it's created a word cloud. What do you think when you hear the words habitat, endangered, and extinction? So this is an activation of prior knowledge. And then it's created a discussion question. What can we do to protect animals from disappearing forever? Then it has a lot of the content in the original lesson. But you see here it has created a mini project, draw an endangered species in its habitat and label adaptation it is made to survive. So this is based on the content the lessons just gone through. Then you have more of the lesson and you have an exit ticket at the end there. Explain why protecting endangered species and their habitats is important. And then a check for understanding in the lesson. So again, what this generator does is that it reads through the presentation we already made and makes it interactive. You can play around with a lot more of the AI in Curipod. Try it for any subject. You can also try translating any slide to any language here. Your imagination is the limit. And at the end of this section, we actually have a really fun activity where you create your own lesson. And in the next video, I'm going to go through how the AI generators work. This is the deep knowledge of the AI here. So I see you then. Bye, everyone.